Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. The sun is nearly shining, the birds are singing, the daffodils are coming up, and got a few things I want to cover and talk about this morning. As many of you will be aware, the shadows that are visible are beginning to escalate around the world, and by that obviously you will all be aware of the situation that's occurring in Ukraine and Russia, and there's ongoing scenarios with the what's been known as kind of the freedom movement, or the huge kind of convoys, all this ripple of energy and awakening and unification that is happening globally. Now, a lot of you may be aware of the fact that we are physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually mopping up, picking up, feeling a lot more kind of burden, responsibility, and penultimately the energy of fear in the fields at the moment. And this is understandable. It's if you're watching the news, or if you're aware of the social media and the situations that are occurring, over the last 2 years I've been examining very carefully the playbook, or the set of circumstances that has been kind of enacted within the 3D structures, within the 3D setup, in order to finalize the plans that have been kind of rolled out for millennia, thousands of years. What you're seeing in response to the global awakening at the moment has taken thousands of years of planning. Now, just humour me a while. Imagine yourself to be one of these souls who has incarnated repeatedly into the same role, very much as we've had, but in different bodies. But you've come back again and again and again deliberately with the sole intention of creating a fabric, or a separate universe of reality, or structure of reality, that will enable to keep a group of souls in a third dimensional frequency, when it is in actual fact their time to wake up and step into the fifth dimensional vibrations. Okay, so you've planned this a long time. You've done your homework. You've preempted almost every single kind of action, reaction, sets of circumstances, and everything else that could possibly be happening at this moment in time. But you've seen into it, okay? And all of a sudden, the worst fears that you had about this scenario have come true, and everybody that you wanted to maintain at a lower frequency vibration has woken up, which is exactly what's happened around the world. We've seen wave of awakening after awakening, and this has been occurring, you know, not just since 2012, but as far back to the harmonic convergence in the 1980s, but very much more specifically in the last 2, 3, 4 years. There has been a global explosion in consciousness. Now, imagine you were the one that was or you were one of the group of souls that were trying to prevent that, and you've gone through your plans, or the things that you were going to fall back on, the things that you had foreseen. Okay, well, if this happens, we do that. We take this action. But each time this has occurred so far, it has failed. And in actual fact, what it has done, it's scored, as I've described previously, splendid home goals. So we've seen all of these actions taken via the matrix to contain the rising consciousness, and they have backfired spectacularly, with fireworks, with little cherries on the top of it. And now it gets to the point where it's okay, you've got no more cards to pull. You're running out of plans, and you're running out of options, time and opportunities to maintain the status quo of fear. So what do? You pull the big guns out of the box, the final one, which is conflict. Okay, So what we're seeing at the moment, I believe, and what I feel, is something that I kept it to myself, but I did feel that it was a potential that when all else fails, you resort to creating the situation that inspires the most fear amongst people, which is conflict, war, okay? So this is occurring now. It's in our reality. We're seeing it. You might even be listening to this and it's on your doorstep. It's now more than ever, it's the time to start flexing your powers of mastery and manifestation. This is it, okay? This is what we've all trained for. This is what all of the promptings, all of the guidance that you've been receiving, all of the things that you've decided to focus upon and train and bring to the surface, and the stuff that lights you up, the stuff that you love, but also the things that push you out of your comfort zones. And whereas the spiritual pathway is delightful, it's filled with light, it's filled with angels, with unicorns, with all of the other souls that you connect with, and they increase your vibration, they bring you light. Once you connect to that 5th dimensional heart center, you plug into a field of peace, unity and understanding that has been so absent in the 3rd dimension that it becomes addictive, and you just want that becomes your prize, your target. Well, now is the time more than ever to begin to focus on that, the anchoring of the mighty I am presence in each and every single one of you listening to this, okay? Never before have we been called to stand in our mastery and begin to create or manifest collectively the vision that we wish to see in the world, not the vision that we're being asked to plug into, the one that we're being asked to become part of, because the fear is revealed, the shadows are coming forth because the light has forced them to do so, okay? So everything we are witnessing around the world is a response to the rise in vibration. And it might not look like that, it might not feel like that. There are a lot of people that are really feeling the transitional shift, the physical side of it, the mental side of it, the emotional side of it, and most importantly, the spiritual side of it, because our spiritual bodies are the first to receive the light. Okay, our spiritual bodies are multi-dimensional on all levels. They're accessing here, there, and everywhere, while we're only conscious really of what's going on around us. And then that light floods in, and the poor, overworked physical versions of us have to keep step. We have to step up. And I've described it before. It's a little bit like running a race, or running say a 10k running race that you're not quite fit enough for. You've done a little bit of training, you've got yourself out there on a regular basis, but the front runners are fast, okay, and you've got to keep pace with them. And that's where we are at the moment. We're constantly keeping pace, we're constantly keeping catch up, but that is by the by, okay? There's a lot of opportunities to get very, very caught up in our own personal process, how bogged down we're feeling, how the responsibility is getting on top of us. And although it is paradoxical to the situations we're witnessing, it is time to shake off the chains that we have and simply live in as much of a state of peace and joy and illumination as we can, whilst being focused very, very diligently on the mission and what we are here to do. And what we are here to do is, in actual fact, if you talk about it, if you discuss it in a group, if you discuss it with yourself or your higher self, it's very simple. We move from fear to love, okay? Fear is visible now on the planet. Power and control, the power of the fear that is coming up, the control mechanisms, the complaints, the very, very loud complaints of the matrix as we are all unplugging from it. So I believe that we are now seeing the evidence of the final hands. the control, the first situations that occurred at the beginning of 2020 when the whole planet went into lockdown, that I believe was the most amazing catalyst for us all. A lot of us really struggled during that time, and who wouldn't? It brought up every single survival instinct that we had to the surface. But now we've moved through that, and as a result of what we've experienced and as a result of what has occurred around the world, we now have millions of light brothers and sisters who've joined us and are flooding in. If you tune into the collective field, you can just feel them joining, these lights popping on, beginning to kind of attune to what their heart is guiding them to do rather than what the ego is telling them to do. And due to the information that you will see or receive, or the fields of fear that might be very, very prominent around you at the moment, I just want to read it again. I mean, I read this passage out in the workshop that David and I were doing the other night, and I've also read it before. It's a quote from Archangel Joffield, which was downloaded in 1954 to Thomas Prince in this amazing book. I mean, I've plugged this book more times than I can possibly remember now, because I feel the words are so appropriate. This is coming directly from, and for those of you that have heard me say this before, I do believe it's important enough to keep reminding us, not just me, but us, of how powerful we truly are at these times where you will be made to they will be trying to make you feel that you are powerless. Okay. So this is from Archangel Joffield, a multi-dimensional archangel who is working in a cluster of universal spaces and times and dimensions simultaneously, but his focus has always been upon Earth and this particular transition. So these are his words. Remember, these came through in 1954, long before we started to kind of tune into the fifth dimensional vibrations. Beloved ones, in the name of the heavenly host I represent, I give you gratitude, gratitude, gratitude for this service. We are giving light, but we cannot give it lightly. I love that. We give this light to set the planet free. We give this light to finish once and for all the sorrow, the degradation, the disease, the shadows that yet engulf and desire to really smother the spiritual natures of the entire race. You know, it has been said, one with God is a majority, and that is an eternal truth. One man's vision brought the Santa Maria across the Atlantic. One man's vision established a free America. One light transfigured a body and ascended it in the presence of 500 people. One intelligence, God directed, has more than once saved this planet from dissolution being war. In hundreds of years, there was sometimes only one life stream incarnate who held the divine connection between the human and the divine. Just preceding the coming of Sanat Kumara, 4 life streams were all that remained whom the karmic law saw reason to believe could be sustained. 4 individuals out of billions, and yet it was enough. So while one man, one woman desires the sustenance of a planet, while 2 strong feet are planted upon this earth with a heart anchored into God's heart, the planet must survive, because one in the authority of the I Am is the presence of Almighty God at whatever point or place that focused flame abides. So, in the words of beloved Archangel Joffield, that speaks volumes to me. One person, or say 4 out of billions of people, was enough. Now think of yourself. Think of all of you tuning into this. Think of all of the other souls who are on their spiritual pathway. We are no longer a minority. We are a majority, more than a majority. And yet we have this we have this programming, we have this kind of sense of powerlessness when it comes to the situations that we're witnessing around us, and it is time to release that and let it go, to start standing in our light and really, really begin to anchor the I am presence and start manifesting exactly what we wish to achieve in this world. And I did promise that I would release the words of the vision decree. Now, Diana Cooper and I did a lovely workshop on the 222222 portal date, and we created this vision decree, and I'm going to put the text in the underneath this video today so that all of you can keep it for yourselves. Whether you attended the workshop or not, I do believe the words of this vision decree are important. Now, this is to be read 3 times out loud with authority, and it works. It changes vibrations, it brings light in, and it also helps to create a springboard for manifestating the vision that we wish to create. Manifesting. So I'm getting tripping up on my own words. So this is the vision decree, and the words will be available. Okay, so you can copy them, you can print them out, you can download them, do whatever you want to do. And I'm going to say this 3 times out loud. By the power of my manifestation, with the might of the universe, I now decree that all lower structures are replaced by that which vibrate with the power of love. I now create a world vibrating with the light of the 5th dimension, which supports all creations in harmony with the Atlantean Ascension Goldprint. I declare my mastery and my sovereignty as I step into my highest role as a master of Earth. As within, so without, as above, so below. And just as you're breathing and relaxing, just start to feel the universe responding to the words around. As you are creating, as you are casting that spell, using your power and your alchemy. By the power of manifestation, with the might of the universe, I now decree that all lower structures are replaced by that which vibrate with the power of love. I now create a world vibrating with the light of the 5th dimension, which supports all creations in harmony with the Atlantean Ascension Goldprint. I declare my mastery and my sovereignty as I step into my highest role as a master of Earth. As within, so without, as above, so below. 3 times. By the power of my manifestation, with the might of the universe, I now decree that all lower structures are replaced by that which vibrate with the power of love. I now create a world vibrating with the light of the 5th dimension, which supports all creations in harmony with the Atlantean Ascension Goldprint. I declare my mastery and my sovereignty as I step into my highest role as a master of Earth. As within, so without. As above, so below. It is so. Okay, so usually I just do a little talk on a Friday, but we've wound up doing or having a decree to use. So start using the decree. Start or write your own. Okay, do whatever you need to do at the moment, but you are going to be called to step up. It is time. Okay, it is time to start occupying these master roles. No more powerlessness, no more being steamrolled by the fear of the 3rd dimension. We are going to see these things going on around us. We are going to see the shadows are visible, okay? Whereas before they were hidden, apart from at times when they would pop up. And if you think about it as well, a conflict or conflicts between countries is another way for new laws to be enacted. And if we have created a stable, unified grid, although these things are occurring in pockets and they are visible to our reality, they will not become the predominant energy or the platform for which we are living within. That is not what we're creating. That's not what we have incarnated to do. So there we go. And I'd just like to give a big shout out to the event that I'm running with Paul Debris Carey on the 3rd of March. We are doing part 2 of the Law of One, and we will be we're going to be looking very carefully at what's going on around the world at the moment, how we're interacting with it, how we're creating with it, and we start. It's a little bit earlier than normal. It's usually I start at 7 o'clock UK time, but Paul and I are kicking it off at 5 p.m. UK time. So those of you, if you have the link to join, will be available in the text underneath this video. And of course, Mir Kafkios and I are preparing for the One Unity generation and the 6th month journey that we're doing, and also details for that will be available. So on this beautiful Friday, with all of these occurrences going on around the world, prepare your mighty I Am presence. Become it. Become one with the light. Become one with your 5th dimensional heart center. Do not be distracted, knocked out of alignment, swayed to plug into fields of fear. We will experience them and you may feel them, but we're here to alchemize them. And astrologically, we're going to start seeing a lot more in our benefit and in our favor to support those fields. And of course, we've got this incredible gathering of higher souls around us. But some of you may be noticing that they are standing here, they are standing back, they are here to assist, but they're waiting for us to claim our personal power. Standing in our mighty I Am presence at this time is the most powerful act that all of us can do, and that will change the world completely. Sending you loads of love, and I'll see you again on Monday morning. Bye for now.